and WCCSradio.com. So I was talking to Audia Boyles. I said, what can we talk about? She says, I don't know. And then she rattled off a list of some really important sounding topics for the Alice Paul House this morning. So lively conversation as usual. Our visit presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. And so let's say good morning to Audia Boyles from the Alice Paul House and Whitney Carmichaels with us as well. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you both with us here today. Audia, one of the things that you mentioned is Alice Paul House in the schools and working with school students, making school visits. Tell me what that is all about. I know it's a very important topic.
Well, it's one of the things that most of our community members don't realize that we do. We provide prevention education and awareness programs in every school in Indiana County. We're in all the districts, and we're there on multiple levels. Mm-hmm. For the lower grades, kindergarten through fifth grade, we do single sessions with the kids in each grade level and provide them with information that grows as the years go by. So what they learn in first grade is built on in second grade and so forth. And then from 6th to 12th grade, we do multi-session, multi-level programs. So we start with the 6th graders, and we do 9 sessions of programming with them. We come back in 7th grade with that same group of students, and we do the next level of programming. Mm-hmm. And most of our work there focuses, especially middle school through high school, on healthy relations and adolescent abuse relationships. Mm-hmm. Making sure that they understand red flags, that they understand the differences within social stalking and how to communicate with each other and how to look at their social media and move forward and create those kind of personal relationships that are positive. Mm-hmm. So we're very proud of that. We also go into the preschools. We do some daycare work, and one of our other standards is our senior centers. We bring awareness programs to them. Yeah. So it's a program that reaches probably 4,000 to 9,000 programming students each year. Mm-hmm. So we're very, very pleased with that.
I'm interested in what you're able to say and the reaction you get from students in that, that 10 to 13 year age bracket when so many things are going on, especially in that age bracket, as their lives are changing, their bodies are changing, the relations of people around them. People start looking at people differently when they get to that age, and sometimes I'm sure you get a shocked look on the faces of people who didn't realize that what is happening in their life is not normal and should not be a part of what's going on.
Well, Todd, to be honest, we see the growth in the children. Many times when we start these programs, they're very quiet. They just absorb and listen, and there's, a presenter in there, an instructor. And as they move through the age groups, you get more discussion. Mm-hmm. You get more input from the students and questions. And at times, we even do get disclosures about situations that are happening within the family home or within their own, relationships with other students in the schools, or boyfriends, girlfriends, that type of thing. So it's really interesting to watch the growth with these students as we move through these programs.
Yeah. Now, you talked about stalking. Whitney, this is Stalking Awareness Month.
Yeah, January is National Stalking Awareness Month, as well as National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And I think the big thing is every time we come here, people think that Alice Paul is just a domestic violence shelter, and we only provide service to victims of domestic violence. Mm-hmm. Stalking, we see stalking in our domestic violence victims, but other people that maybe don't have an intimate relationship could be stalked by a neighbor, a friend, things like that. Along with human trafficking, I think a lot of people, one of the myths that you'll see on our social media is that people are human trafficked by a stranger, the random white van that pulls up and takes the kid off your street and sells them across state lines. Mm-hmm. Not that something like that doesn't occur, but in the community that we live in, we see a lot of rural human trafficking, especially around drugs. So people traffic their partner, make them have sex with other people for either money or drugs. That's human trafficking. They're forcing them to do some type of commercial sex act or labor in order to receive some type of monetary value out of it. And I think it's good that we bring awareness that things like this are occurring, unfortunately, in our small community of Indiana.
Yeah, and the victims of that can be children, they can be adults. It's really a wide age range. Age really doesn't have a whole lot to do
Correct.
with that.
Yeah.
And Todd, on that note, I work very hard on the state level with the Pennsylvania Coalition to Advance Respect and the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence, sitting on both of their anti-trafficking committees and trying to bring awareness to the more rural picture of what we do see, because it's very different than urban and inner city trafficking. And a lot of people don't understand that those things do occur here. And on a state and national level, we need to make sure that there are identifiers out there that also relate back to our small communities, so that we can continue to try to squash, this horrible process that happens to individuals.
When it happens in a rural setting, is it more because there's less scrutiny or fewer eyes to catch someone in the act of doing things like this?
No, I think they just don't relate it to the definition. I think, again, if you're in an intimate relationship, as Whitney says, and unfortunately there may be drug addiction there, you're coerced into providing certain services in order to feed those addictions. And you may think that it's a mutual agreement between you and your partner. You may feel like it's the only resource in order to be provided with a, supply for your addiction. And people don't define it as trafficking. And then when we look at children, unfortunately, that's the most heartbreaking area, because, there are some parents out there that do very horrific type of things with their children in order to pay their electric bill or to get food on their table. And we don't see that often, but I believe there was just a pretty big case somewhere within our western region of a mom, basically selling her young child off to another individual in order to provide herself with, a roof over her head.
Yeah.
So, and we're seeing a lot of cases. There's a double case right now where two older gentlemen, and I use the term gentleman loosely, but it's allegations at this point, but they were both arrested. They were supposed to have a preliminary hearing yesterday, and it's been, waived over. But these things do happen, and we have to make sure that our community has eyes on, those that we care about and maybe can identify that there may be an issue.
Yeah. Whitney, I believe that in cases such as that, the relationship between law enforcement and what Alice Paul House is able to do has to be really, really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where our close proximity and working comes together. A lot of times people show up to our agency maybe thinking they can file a protection from abuse order, and that doesn't really fit the need. So we're able to call law enforcement, accompany that client to the barracks, actually meet with the officer and the client, and really try to work out the best possible way that we can help those individuals. And I think it's just good that we bring to light that we do so much more than just that domestic violence piece, that people don't realize that if you feel like you're being trafficked or stalked, you could come to our agency and we could help you kind of through that situation.
Yeah. I would assume as well that, and either of you can answer this, that in the case of stalking, the stalker himself or herself might not even consider what they're doing to be unusual, uncommon, or out of bounds.
Especially in the rural communities, because it's a different level. I mean, we have human traffickers in the larger areas that actually, kidnap people, put them to work. We also have, servitude, which is part of human trafficking, that you bring an individual here from another country and you say you're going to work for Whitney for, a year, and they're going to pay your travel expenses and set you up to be independent. And then you're working, 18 hours a day, you're not getting paid for it. You live in a closet in the basement, and that's human trafficking also. So we do see servitude as one of those areas also. So, again, individuals, I think, more in the rural areas may not identify the behaviors as trafficking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think something that we always talk to our victims about, especially in stalking cases, is if we're going to go to law enforcement with them, is a lot of times they want to see a pattern. So we talk to them about keeping a log, showing messages, Facebook messages, social media, places that you saw the individual, anyone that might have witnessed it. And unfortunately, a lot of times that stalking case ends up back on the victim to prove that this is occurring. But if we have that information when we take the individual to the barracks, that's also helpful in those cases.
Talking with the folks from the Alice Paul House here this morning on Indiana in the Morning. Audia, you said there's a fundraiser coming up, too.
We actually do have a fundraiser. The Fraternal Order of Eagles has sponsored a music trivia night. It will be held on January 17th. It's a Saturday. We still have tickets available, so please reach out. We'll be glad to sell you a ticket. It's a great time. We did this last year. We had really great reviews. And the Eagles are absolutely phenomenal, and we appreciate everything they do for us.
Yeah, they know how to put their events on, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, terrific. So anybody can come?
Anybody can come, and the Eagles also have tickets available.
Yeah, you can buy tickets at the door.
Oh, terrific stuff. Again, that's did you say the 17th of January?
17th.
Beautiful. All right, so a lot to talk about with the Alice Paul House, as usual. It's not hard to come up with things to talk about, and unfortunately, some of those things are very, very serious issues, but that's why Alice Paul House is here to help get to the bottom of them and find the solutions for them. Ladies, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Todd, for having us.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Fox News is next.